Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Jane Austen Summer Program YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be talking a little bit about JASP 2025, Sensibility and Domesticity, which took place in historic New Bern, North Carolina, June. I'm about to forget the dates. What dates were they? Somebody please help me out here.
19 through 22? Question mark? Maisie, you can know
Correct.
better than me.
Correct.
19th through 22nd.
June 19th through the 22nd. Clearly, it was a hectic time for all of us. 19th through the 22nd, and we had so much fun. We really just wanted to sit down, chat a little bit about our experiences, recap it for those of you who weren't able to join us this year, and also just share memories with those of you who were. So, in case you don't know who we are, I'm Sarah.
I'm Maisie. And I'm Nadea.
And now we're going to talk a little bit about the tasks each of us were responsible for completing at JASP 2025 specifically. So we all work for various outlets of the Jane Austen Collaborative year-round. We've all been here for quite a while, but it was a little bit different working at the symposium because normally we all work remotely or at least on a more hybrid basis. But this was all on site, in person, which was really fun. It was great to see everybody, to see everybody's faces and to get to connect and hug and, see these people that you've been working with on a pretty significant basis for years now for some of us. But specifically for JASP 2025, I did the vlog series, which appeared on our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube. One of the videos on YouTube got like 2.1 thousand views, and I felt like an influencer. Somebody call Jane Austen talk. I felt so famous. But I had a lot of fun putting those together, taking the footage and learning how to put all of that together in Instagram Reels. It's actually a lot harder than it looks. I've never done any of that before, so it was a new adventure for me, but now at least I can put content creation on my resume. So I feel like it was worth the learning curve. I also helped out a lot with registration the first couple of days. So chances are, there's like a 1 in 3, 1 in 4%, 1 in 3 or 1 in 4%. That's not a percent. That's a fraction. Chance, you get the picture. Chance that you probably saw me whenever you were checking in, getting your little name tag with a lanyard. That was a lot of fun. That was really hectic. That was a crazy at least 2 hours straight of registration on the first day. But luckily, we had a big team. Maisie was also working registration, so she can attest. We had a big team,
Yes.
and I think it went as smoothly as it probably could have gone, which was great. I also, for the duration of the symposium, was pretty much the point person for Jane Austen's desk, which is Sarah Walton and Inga Brody's public humanities initiative. It's this digital space dedicated to recreating Austen's workspace where she was writing in the year 1813, which is it's so cool and it's all interactive online. We've got our beta site up and running, so you should totally go visit that if you haven't had a chance to do it yet. And I was also co-leading the Norland Park discussion group with Erin Mackey, who is a former professor of literature at Syracuse University and currently a museum docent in Virginia. So that was super awesome. I had tons of fun with the discussion group. We had so many great context corners and really, really, I think, fascinating ideas to engage with. And our group was the most delightful bunch of people. Truly, I had so much fun. So that was awesome. And then after the symposium ended, I also wrote the recap article for our blog, which you can check out in the description below. There will be a link.
So, like Sarah said, I was also at registration. That was sort of my main spot for Thursday, at least. And I will say that not every organization or conference or group that has a sort of check-in where there are lots of things to get tickets for and potentially mistakes to contend with, but all of you were so gracious who attended the conference, and it really just proved really in person, in the flesh, how great of a community we have, because all of you were so gracious and patient. We had 4 or 5 people kind of shifting out, in and out, at the help desk, and like Sarah said, it probably went just as smoothly as it could have. And then I also ran the help desk for most of the days, but I also enjoyed just doing whatever I needed to do. So this consisted of a lot of running about and a lot of spreadsheet work and problem solving. But I enjoyed every second of it. And when I had a spare moment to come to a discussion group, I was in Sarah's Norland Park, so I can also attest that some pretty fantastic discussion occurred, and I was only there for 1.5. So it was really wonderful, and I loved every second of it. Let's see. I also enjoyed featuring it in the vlogs. Do not have Sarah's talent for putting these reels together, but it was very fun to feature. I feel like I did a lot of other things, but off the top of my head, I think those are my main tasks.
Don't let Maisie fool you. She did everything. She was officially the only registrar. And so anytime anybody had a question, anytime anybody needed anything done, it was Maisie who did it. If you had a question, chances are you asked Maisie and she fixed your problem right up. So don't let her fool you into thinking she didn't do anything.
Very kind, Sarah. Well, I will also be returning next year as registrar for 2026. So you'll probably be hearing from me next January or so as we start getting information out, and then I'll be in person in June as well.
I'm really excited for you, Maizie. I think it's going to be really, really awesome for everybody to get to see your face again at at JASP 2026. You've been so great as registrar. I'm definitely a part of that group of people who, when I had a question, ran to Maizie to ask it. So I can attest that you've done a great job.
Thank you. Well, I couldn't have gotten through it without amazing people to work alongside with. So I feel like Sarah and Nadea deserve a ton of props too.
Thank you.
Even though they won't be there for 2026. And I will miss them a lot.
So sad.
But we don't need to think about that.
That's the future. We're here. We're still here. We're still mentally at JASP 2025.
Right, we're recapping
we are.
2025.
I'm still mentally at JASP 2025, running around with a camera. That was my, as tech director, you can kind of guess that it would make a little bit of sense that my job during the symposium was to record different lectures and talks, and to record the theatricals as well. In addition to kind of role-playing paparazzi and trying to get candid photos of everybody. So sorry if you saw me with a camera all up in your face. I'm not a professional. I was really just playing around with fancy equipment. But I like to think that the photos and videos and all of that content turned out pretty nicely. And I hope that you all will think so too, because I'm hoping in the very, very near future to be able to share a Google Photos link with you all. And then you'll be able to take a look at the photos that kind of act as a yearbook for the symposium. So I can prove that, hey, I wasn't just shoving cameras in people's faces for no reason. It really turned into something. But that was definitely my biggest task, biggest responsibility during the symposium. I didn't do much sitting down. I was very much scurrying around like a little squirrel with a camera. But then, yeah, aside from that, I also participated in the vlog series that Sarah ran, like a real veteran influencer. One of my favorite moments during the whole entire thing was at I think like 11 or 12 o'clock, and we're like in the hotel room, and Sarah's working away at this vlog, and she's like, "Does this sound good? I need you guys to jump on the bed for the vlog, please." And so that was also really, really fun to get to be a part of.
You guys were such sports. Anytime I was like, can we do this silly video? Can we do this thing? They were all about it. They said yes, no questions asked. So thank you for being so cooperative when it came to my silly ideas.
They were brilliant ideas.
Great
Thank you.
idea.
They really
Any
Thank you.
any idea that's jump on the hotel bed? Great idea.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That was definitely, I think, doing the vlog, those were some of my best memories. But there were so many good memories at JASP 2025. Like so many great things happened. It was crazy and hectic, and there were some moments where I thought I was going to lose it. There are about 20 people asking different things at once, and you're so scattered, and you're like, oh, I've got to go do this, but is this more pressing? And lots of running around and not knowing where you're supposed to be. But there were so many wonderful, fun moments that made it so worth it, like 10 times so worth it. Some of them that I can think of off the top of my head. I loved the Tryon Palace tour. For those of you who got to tour Tryon Palace and the grounds, the garden, just looking out at the garden and the maze in the garden, one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen in my life. And our tour guide on the tour that I went on, her name was Sahar, and she was from Egypt. And the first thing that she said was, if you do not remember name, you'll remember accent. And I loved her. She was so funny. She was spectacular. She really made the experience just pop. It was great. I also loved, obviously, from those of you who have seen any of our previous vlog series, you will all know that I'm a huge Susan Ellen Ford fangirl. And so her plenary I thought was really, really interesting. And it was about reading the Americas with Jane Austen. So Jane Austen's understanding of the Americas that she might have had based on the literature she might have had access to, which I thought was really fascinating and never something that I had considered before. I just really hadn't thought of Austen's connection to the Americas or, the geography, topography. So that was awesome. I also got to meet the JASNA president unexpectedly, Mary Mintz. I was introduced by Susan, actually, which like made me feel good because I stumbled upon them on the deck, and Susan waved me over and introduced me as, this is Sarah. And Mary was like, "Oh, is this the famous Sarah Walton?" And I was like, "No." And Susan was like, "No, it's the famous Sarah Hurley." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, really?" I know she just said it to flatter me, but it worked. It worked. I was like, I was cried. I was like, "Wow, thank you." And then Susan said, "This is the famous Mary Mintz." And Mary was like, "Oh, no." And Susan was like, "Yeah, she's the president of JASNA." And I was like, "Okay, Your Honor, Your Majesty, nice to meet you." I was starstruck. So that was awesome. I was not expecting that at all. It was so cool. Obviously, the ball, the Regency Ball, always a crowd favorite. I danced most of the dances with Maisie, who was the most fantastic ball partner, especially for the Duke of Kent's Waltz, which is the traditional closing dance and also my favorite.
Was lovely.
It was so fun.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. We were so hot. It was so hot in Maddox Hall and we were all sweating, but it was really fun. I also loved at the ball. I got to connect with someone, probably the only person in the world who loves the 2003 Mormon Pride and Prejudice as much as I do. It's such a good film. Nobody's ever seen it, but I finally met one person who feels as passionately about it as I did. So we got to bond for a moment, which was truly delightful because it is such a niche film, and you're never expecting that to be somebody's favorite Pride and Prejudice adaptation. But yeah, talking to them was delightful. And those are some of my highlights, some of the things I loved most.
Like Sarah, I also loved the Tryon Palace tour. Nade and I were able to go on the same tour, so that was really fun going together. We did not have Sahar as our guide, but I think we still managed to have a pretty fun time. We somewhat got lost in the garden because we were trying to find the garden and we realized it was just the kitchen garden, not the garden. But we found it eventually and it was gorgeous, but extremely hot. So we would have spent a lot more time there if it hadn't been boiling. And coming from Kansas, I'm used to heat and I'm used to humidity, but 90% humidity and coastal North Carolina was something I had never experienced before, and I may never want to experience again. It was very, I did not, I don't even have words. As you can see, I can't even express myself in my remembrance of this just awful humidity. It was palpable in the air. You could almost see it, but I digress. That maybe wasn't my favorite part, but it was certainly memorable. Um, I also loved Sarah Marsh's plenary, the constitutional safeguard of a flannel waistcoat, Sense and Sensibility and the Government of the Self. Just off the bat, that's a fabulous title, and I thought it was very, very fascinating, and potentially a bit controversial, as brought up a new opinion about Colonel Brandon, but I won't get into that here. But it was very interesting. And another fun memory was one of our attendees made hand-printed shirts. I should have brought mine to show, but pictures of perfection make me sick and wicked. That delightful Austen quote. And she somehow, I'm not sure exactly how, put that on a shirt that she made herself. And she was just handing some out, and I was very glad recipient of one. So that was fun to have a special memento of sorts, in addition from my sensibility and domesticity t-shirt. Those are a couple of, oh, and the ball. I couldn't move on without talking about the ball. It was delightful. We had a very charismatic, as those of you who were there know, dance master, Mr. Steph Lively. So he certainly made it an entertaining evening. And of course, regardless of whether or not I'm biased, I had the best dance partner in Miss Sarah Hurley. So we had a good time.
I chose a bit of an Enola Holmes kind of route to the ball. I wore pants, so I kind of chose not to necessarily participate in things, but I still had a really great time attending the ball and getting to see everybody in costume, everybody in character. It was really fun to watch you both dance. It was very, very sweet, very endearing. And playing all of Samia's games that she had set up too as well were really, really fun. Trivia was hard, and I'm going to claim that it was unfair. And I'm not just saying that because we lost the trivia. I think it was a little bit rigged, but anyways. Um, all in all, ball was really, really fun to get to see kind of as an observer on the outskirts of it. Um, I also really enjoyed Maisie and I's palace tour. We for sure did get lost in the garden. It was hot, but I'm not mad about it because it was really, really pretty, and I think it was really, really worth it. And I also had a lot of fun inside the palace, speculating about whether there was a a butler housekeeper enemies to lovers romance going on because they had their own, like, it was like the basement was like just their rooms in their like space, and they were like across the hall, and I'm like, they had to like have something had to be going on. My writer brain was like, enemies to lovers, butler housekeeper, it's great,
I need that story.
Please.
And I fully believe that happened at least at one point. They had to have some kind of drama living that close together. I'm like,
Oh, I'm obsessed. I'm
no
obsessed.
So that was really fun to speculate about, and also just to see kind of the whole palace was really, really interesting, and to think about, like, I don't know how they were living back then. The chamber pots freak me out. But mostly it was really, really cool. Very pretty views of the river. But yeah, and what else did I really enjoy? I also really, really enjoyed the theatricals. Were so much fun. I was there recording the whole thing, so I got to see it all through both the camera and through my own eyes. But that was really entertaining, and I think a lot of you were entertained as well. Which hopefully that video will be available soon for you guys all to watch. So you can enjoy it again, and that'll be super sick and awesome. I just had so much fun getting to spend time with everyone, and to see a lot of you in person. As tech director for Jane Austen and Company, I have seen a lot of your names scroll through the comments or pop up in the email. So it's really fun to meet a lot of you in person, and be able to put faces to those names. Yeah, it was a really, 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 really fun time. It was very, I think, it felt really good to be with such like a passionate community. And so that was it was a really great, very tiring, but very awesome 4 days.
I can definitely agree with that. And speaking of being in person, kind of brings us to JASP 2026. So at our final farewells, we got a sneak peek of the topic and the location. So next year's symposium, the theme will be Pride, Prejudice, and the Pursuit of Happiness, as we sort of celebrate both Austen and the Declaration of Independence. And it will take place at Seton Hill University in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Not Seton Hall in New Jersey, but Seton Hill. This was something that I myself was confused, and I was on Google Maps, and I was like, oh, going to New Jersey. And I was like, wait, no, not going to New Jersey. So Seton Hill in
Do
Pennsylvania.
not go to New Jersey. No
Yes.
one will be there.
Nobody
Yes.
will be
No.
there. Actually, some other people who were also confused will maybe be there, but it does not constitute a JASP symposium.
Yes, very true. And the dates for next year are June 11th through 14th. So save the date, and we'll be getting back to you with some more information.
That's all we have for you guys today with this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please tell us in the comments what your favorite moments were. We'd love to hear from you. And it was really, really awesome as well to see a lot of you in person. And we hope that you come to JASP next year as well. Even though it's in a bit of a different location, we're sure it's going to be just as great a time, if not better. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us for this YouTube series and for JASP in person. Hope to see you then. But until then, I've been Nadea.
I've been Maisie.
And I've been Sarah.
And see you later. Bye.